This is a short video discussing what a variable is in Python. First of all, I'm going to describe my environment. Right now I'm using something called PyCharm Community Edition. It's an integrated development environment for Python, and I will be showing you my examples in this IDE. So, what is a variable? Well, first of all, the line that I have just typed in is not a variable. There's reasons it's not a variable. First, it has the pound sign in front of it, the pound sign right here. The pound sign indicates that it's a comment, that it's a line of code that Python will just ignore. So any line with a pound sign in front of it, Python will ignore. So I know it's not a variable. Well, what is a variable, and how do I define a variable, and how do I give a variable information to hold for me? Because that's what a variable does in Python. A variable is simply a named space in computer memory that holds a value. And in most cases, that value can be changed. So I'm going to start off by defining a variable called myvar. Myvar is just a name. That's all it is. There's nothing special about the characters myvar except that they have to be unique within the program. So myvar is going to be, this is a variable. And that's what a variable is, right there. So I have myvar, which is, we will see the name, and it is to the left of the single equal sign. And I have the string, this is a variable, which is to the right of the single equal sign. What is on the left of the single equal sign is the variable, and it's a name that you can carry with you and use again and again throughout your program. And every time you use it, you will see that the value that it carries with it is this is a variable. And you can change this value, but for right now we're not going to do that. We'll do that in just a couple minutes. So I want to print the value of the variable myvar. So I'm going to use the print function in Python, and I'm going to use myvar, and I'm going to print it. So let me run this program, and what we will see down here on the bottom of the screen is the IDE, the console window that allows you to run it. And what we'll see here is I get, this is a variable. That's simple enough. So now what if I change my var? So I'm going to say my var equals something else. Okay? And then I'm going to print my var again. Print. Whoops, my bad for typing. So I'm going to print it again. So let's see what happens. This time we only got out, this is a variable. And now I get out, this is a variable from this print statement, and I get out something else from this print statement. What you'll notice is that both print statements are identical. They both say print, open parenthesis, myvar, close parenthesis. But there are two different lines coming out, and that's because on line 7 of my program, I have changed the value associated with the variable myvar to something else rather than this is a variable. And this means that I can change the value in a variable. I can also change the value in a variable and say myvar equals 7. And if I go to print myvar, let me run this again, I will get, this is a variable, something else, and 7. And you'll notice again, these print statements, the print statement on line 13, the print statement on line 7, and the print statement on line 5 are identical. And I'm sorry, not on line 7. The print statement on line 9, on line 13, on line 9, and on line 5 are identical. The, the only thing that differs here is the value of the variable myvar. And that's just a quick introduction to what a variable is. And again, you can always tell if you have a variable because you have a name, a string without quotes. To the right of that string without quotes is a single equal sign, and then after that is some piece of information. It can be a string, it can be an integer, it can be a float. It can be any number of data structures that we'll get into later in the class. But that is what a variable is.